Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt. It's ammunition testing day. One of the newer calibers that I just started testing, I think last year, is our 300 Blackout. This is from American Marksman. In full transparency, they donated us a box of this ammunition to test with no strings attached. This is their striker line. This is a 145, 150 grain full metal jacket tracer round. Let's throw him on the table and see what we're going to do today. For our 300 Blackout, we have 3 barrel lengths afforded to us, which I think covers pretty much the wide spectrum of typical 300 Blackout barrels. We have a 7.5 inch upper, a 10.5 inch, and then 16. I've thought about picking up a shorter upper at some point, but I think that covers our spectrum. We're going to check for velocity and function of this bullet in all of our barrel lengths, as well as practical accuracy. And then, since it is darker outside earlier, since we're in the winter months, we're going to test some of this out to about 200 yards to see if it will start giving us tracer effect. A general warning with tracers is that you always got to be careful with these, especially in drier environments, because they will, they light and there's a pyrotechnic effect that is burning in them, and you can catch quite a bit of things on fire. It rained the night before out here, and like I said, it's getting towards winter here in Michigan, so most of the ground is very wet, so we shouldn't have any worries about starting a fire out here. We've got our Pro Chrono Digital DLX. As always, it's around 40 to 45 degrees outside today. We'll start with the shortest barrel length that I have available in 300 Blackout, and that is our 7.5 inch upper. I have this on my SBR lower. Got a Yankee Hill single port QD muzzle brake up front, Trijicon MRO. We've got the KCI windowed P-mags here that I picked up from Global Ordnance. See if they run with 300 Blackout. Not sure if you can pick that up from the microphone, but some of the tracers are lighting in the dirt berm down there and burning. And now we have our 10.5 inch upper, another Palmetto State Armory build. This is on a pistol lower. We've got a Primary Arms Cyclops Gen 1 up there, another Yankee Hill QD muzzle brake. This one's a 3-port. Nice. Getting good cycling so far in all of our actions. And finally, our 16 inch upper, another Palmetto State Armory. We have a single port QD muzzle brake up front. You can tell I really like our Yankee Hill QD muzzle brake because I literally have them on as many guns as possible so I can swap my suppressors around. Got a Primary Arms Silverline scope up top that I use on a lot of different hosts. I don't know where it's gonna shoot on the 300 Blackout. Hopefully I don't shoot the chronograph. Cool, got cycling even in this 16 inch. Might have a little bit of a heavy buffer in this SBR lower of mine, but we got good cycling. Cool. I'm really interested in see if these will light inside 200 yards. I think we're gonna wait for the light to fade a little bit and see what they look like. Since I have quite a few of these, I'm gonna start at 25 yards and see how accuracy degrades as I step back in yardage with a 300 Blackout, but we're using the 16 inch with a Primary Arms Silverline scope all the way, all the zooms, 18 power. We have a little bit of wind today, but you know, at 25 yards, we should be minimally affected by that. Our first group was 1.061 inches. Then our second group was 1.307. Fairly consistent, not too bad for a general plinking tracer round. We'll step back to 50 and possibly 100 yards. Here is our American Marksman 300 Blackout tracer. Got the 16-inch barrel with the 18 power primary arms, first focal plane scope. We have a little bit of wind today. I am shooting into the wind. It's not a crosswind, but I'm getting right around 5.2 inches of the best group. That was actually the first group. Otherwise, it's right around the same for these subsequent groups. And occasionally we just get a flyer. Like I had, I think 1, 2, 3 down here, 4, 5, and then we get a couple that are off here. So it's not meant to be an accurate load. It's probably general plinking and or just fun. But your mileage may vary. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried some of this and if you print any better groups than I do. We're back at our 200-yard bench attempting to see where these are going to light. I did fire a test string. It looks like they are starting to light around the 150 to 200-yard mark. They are red. It is dusk. Quite a bit of gas to the face with that supersonic one. I'm about blind for a second. I'm tearing up. But I am able to visually see that tracer's lighting likely into the 150 to 200 yard from this 16-inch. Nice. They seem to be reliably igniting from our 16-inch, and like I said, out to about 150 to 200 yards is when they start igniting that I can visually see them. We'll have to slow the camera down and see if I can catch them beforehand. We've got our 10.5 inch. I want to see if they will light out of this shorter barrel length. Looks like that is a yes. Awesome. So even out of our 10.5 inch, we are getting lighting. Perfect. Well, folks, there you have it, our American Marksman Full Metal Jacket Tracer in 300 Blackout. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the beginning of the video, or you could probably see from the macros, but they're actually using 5.56 brass that they've converted to 300 Blackout. We've got the Lake City head stamp with the NATO cross, as well as primer crimping, which I don't think you see in normal 300 Blackout brass, so they've definitely converted 5.56 brass. We had good function in all of our guns. I may be using slightly heavy of a buffer in the 16-inch because a few times when I was testing it, I didn't get locked back on the last round fired. I do notice that they are probably loaded a little on the light side, but these are just for, you know, general plinking and having fun. They're not, you know, meant for a serious target load or any kind of self-defense, home defense. So your mileage may vary on checking for function in your gun. Otherwise, I didn't have any issues at all going forward through about, you know, 200 rounds of this. Looking at the footage I captured at night to see when they would start tracing, it looks like they do start tracing right around 100 yards out to the 200-yard mark, and probably would trace quite a bit after that as well. Unfortunately, all I have is a 200-yard berm here, so someday we may have to find one of my friends that's got, you know, 400 or 500, 600 plus yards and see how far out these will go. At the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible. Number one is my Patreon supporters. Number two is American Marksman, who in full transparency sent me that box of tracers for me to test with no strings attached. And of course, number three is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.